I'm Liam.
And I'm Nici.
We're from 2 houses into one, and we've built a fort in his back garden for us kids, and we're going to give you a step-by-step guide on how to do it.
We're trying to make the garden as fun as possible for our 2 children and 1 on the way, and also the kids on the street.
I used to be a sparky, I used to be in trade, and that kind of merged into various things like joinery, a little bit of plumbing and bricking and things like that, whereas you...
I'm more the design and create the project, but today I'll be helping you out.
We've got 4 big posts, just some normal wooden joists, some 3x2s or I think the 3x4s. And then we've also acquired some...
lots of different size decking.
And that's going to form part of the kind of outside, looks like a castle bit of the fort on there. We're going to be using loads and loads of tools actually on this build. So mitre saw, cordless mitre saw, and then circular saw and track saw. And then we've also got
a combi drill and an impact driver as well.
We've done all those measurements. We've got it laid out on like a bit of a plan on what we're going to do. So I'm going to build basically a rectangle frame out of these, and then I can just use some general wood screws. Decking's going to go on top of that, and then in the corner we're going to have these big chunky posts, and we've measured everything up, making sure we've got enough wood to cover it all. All the cutting's done, we've prepped it all on the first stage, so we're going to get all that screwed together. Me and Nici are going to work together and get all that built. Then we're going to get them first 4 posts up, ready to then put the second or first floor on the side of it. I need to chop end of this little bit off, so it's all like broken there. Now if I had just a wood blade in, I wouldn't be able to cut through this because there's a screw straight through it and it's bent round as I've pulled it out. So whereas this one will cut wood, metal, plastic, aluminium, so it'll just go straight through it. I don't need to faff about taking this screw out.
So we've finished the first base, and now we're going to move on to the platform. We've done all the measuring, so we're going to go straight into the cutting. Did it?
We've hit a bit of a snag where I want these pieces of wood uniform so kids don't bang their head on them. So I'm going to use this piece just to mark it up, and then once I've marked it up I can rip it down with circular saw.
We've just finished building the bases for the 2 floors.
And now we're going to get these 4 posts, we're going to bolt that frame to it, and then we're going to chop it down to size once we've got it all built. So my plan is I'm going to drive a screw in at 10 centimetres up there and a screw in at 10 centimetres up there. I'm going to do that on all 4 posts. And then when me and Nici come to get those floor levels on, there's something for it to drop down on, and it's exactly the same on each post. And then we'll drive some screws in there. So I'm going to get a first mark done at 10. And then I want there to be like a little bit inside so kids can play underneath, and I'm going to have about a metre, just over a metre in there, so I'm going to go 130 for that bit, and then this top little bit after that, because we've got that next level, I need to make sure that there's a rail on there. So I'm going to go 2 metres and then chop these top bits off on the mitre, and that'll give me a 70 centimetre railing at top so the kids don't fall over. I've got all these cut to length now, and then the next step is to get this screw. I'm going to drive it in. I've marked 10 centimetres up on each post. That's going to give me a guide for when I drop this frame on top of it so that everything's the same height. So that first part's done, we've got the base on. Next job is we need to get that second level on. So we're going to get some of those guide screws in exactly where we want it. But because it's quite a heavy lift and we don't want to drop it down on top of it, we're going to drop it on its side and then just slide that piece on. We've finished the frame, we've finished this structure, that's all built now. We've got both floors, both levels on. It's now time, we need to get this old reclaimed decking that we got. We're going to get it cut to length, it's 210 over to this side, so we're going to get all them lengths cut. I've got all them pieces of wood cut, all 32 of them. Batteries are still going strong, it's smashed through them, I think it's only dropped 1 bar. So I'm going to get all these pieces on, get them screwed down, start on bottom floor first, and then we're going to move on to first floor after that. So I've got these boards down on first floor and ground floor, but because it's old reclaimed wood, there's this little bit of an overhang here. So I'm going to use a circular saw and I'm just going to zip down and zip these overhang bits off. Now that all them side pieces are cut off, next stage is to get a little doorway built. So I'm just going to use these offcuts. I'm going to make a little bit of a frame on this side and then same on this side. I'm going to get these pieces of wood going horizontal across this way first. So we've got that front bit done, that doorway on, that little bit of cladding. It's now time to do side bits, the long pieces that are going to go around the side, but then also we've got 64 cuts to make that are going to go around the top to make the fort. So because there's loads to do, I've made a little jig, I've cut just a scrap of decking and then I've put a little piece on the end, screwed it in. I've measured it up to 86 centimetres, so we need 64 boards at 86 centimetres, and then because we've got this little clamp, I can just secure it in place, and then it's nice and easy, rinse and repeat, board on, up to the stop, and then I can just make that cut. Now I've got everything cut and all the horizontal cladding cut and ready, it's time to start screwing it on. I've done 2 lengths, so this one's 1,965 for the shortest 2 sides, and then the longer side on the back's 2,015 mil, so we'll get this screwed on. So now me and Nicky's finished cladding that bottom bit, all the horizontal ones. We're going to start on these vertical ones. So I've pre-cut these little braces that are going to go along bottom and then one halfway up as well. And then we're going to get these horizontal pieces and it should start to come together and start looking like a fort. We've got all 3 vertical sides up and on. Next little bit we need to do is clad this front bit, so everything that's got CLS is going to get covered. We're going to clad that front bit around the first floor, around bottom floor, and then we've got these 4 posts that we're going to clad as well. And then the last bit, 2 pieces going up here, a little cross member across top so that kids aren't going to fall out of this front bit. Final 2 things is getting this sliding, which we got from Facebook Marketplace for £30, and then we're going to put these climbing holes on this side, and that's going to allow kids to get up, play inside fort, and then come down slide after.